I showed this cute young family at least 15 houses, either in person or virtually. And then they made the decision of what they wanted to buy. Then their dad said, I think you ought to just rent. A Nashville market seems way too high.
What? What was that conversation?
Did the only thing I could do. Said to the dad, let's get on a conference call and let's take a deep dive and look at what is actually happening in Nashville, both the history and currently, and what I see in the future, but all based on numbers and facts. If that's something you'd be interested in doing, stick around. With over 80 people, according to the census, moving to the Nashville market every single day, and actually I do think that's slowed down a little bit, but with that, it's happening because we are just a primo place to relocate. The corporate structure makes it great for businesses here. We have great job growth, no taxes, and that's a big drawing card, and a lot more conservative than many of the states that people are trying to leave. Nashville is a hot spot. But I understand that. Because of that, people want to know, is Nashville a safe place to invest your money? Is it a safe place to plant your family and to buy or build or own a home? Is that growth of the last 10 years, is it sustainable? Is it going to continue to grow? Is it going to hold its value? And is it going to gain in the future? I get it. That's what people want to know. And of course, the other thing is, where's the best place to buy in Nashville? Where is the history of the growth been and proven to grow over time? I can answer all of those questions for you. And then, based on data and the history, I'll let you decide. Is Nashville a good place to invest? Hey, I'm Susan Thetford with the Nashville Redefined Show, and on this show, every single week, we talk about all the things that you need to know. If you're considering a move to Nashville, what is it like to eat, sleep, play, work? What's the education like? All the things you want to know about. Those are the things we talk about here on this show. So if that's something of interest to you, then go ahead, subscribe to this channel. New video every single week. Tap the bell. You don't want to miss a thing. Seriously, with that 80 or 100 people, we do have people moving here every single day. I love it. I get calls, texts, emails from people constantly asking questions about Nashville and saying, I need your help. So if that's for you, then I want you to do the same thing. Let me know. How can I help you? By far, the best place to start is looking at some historical data. I'm a native of Nashville. I've been here my entire life and been through several highs and lows of what's happened throughout the country. But what actually happened here in Nashville, Tennessee, especially in that last recession, as compared to Vegas? Is Nashville resilient? Is it stable, even through tough economies that we have had in the past and probably will sometime have in the future? Are we resilient? What happened to our values, home values? Historical data will tell us a whole lot of information. When you're looking to invest in a piece of property, you certainly want to know whether it tends to be, over the long term, a boom or bust. Does it rise and fall quickly kind of environment? So with that in mind, let's take a look at how Nashville compared to Las Vegas. In this graph, we're comparing Nashville's home value, reflected by the red lines, to Las Vegas home values, which are the green lines. Let's going back over the last 20 years. If you zoom all the way back to 2000, you can see that Vegas had a home value of $172,000, which is a little bit higher than Nashville's at $144,000. However, the market changes in the next 10 years look completely different in the two cities. You can see that Nashville, throughout most of that, had steady growth, right? Nothing too crazy. But then you look at Vegas, and that shot all the way up to way crazy, up to 6, 7, and then came back crashing down in 2010, 11, and 12. You see that the Nashville market had a little bit of a dip in the last recession, but it really was pretty stable. So that, historically, Nashville, even in a massive rising, falling kind of economy that we experienced then, stays pretty stable. That's because of the stability of we're both manufacturing, we're banking, we're hospitality, we are service industry, we're hospitals and medical. We are across the board a very diverse economy. So what's interesting though is since 2013, Nashville and Vegas have pretty much risen similarly. They're both about a $300,000 in value. They both kind of gone up at the same rate. But the question is, which economy would you feel more safe in? One that rises and falls quickly, or one that has shown through ages a stability during economic downturns? It's good to me to see that Nashville is more of a resilient type of economy. Homes hold their values. They may not have massive appreciation. They also don't have those massive dips in depreciation that a lot of other cities around the country have experienced. But Nashville still has really great growth over the last 10 years. 2010 to 2020, its percentage appreciation is about 70% over the last 10 years. That's really strong and above average compared to U.S. average. Here's a graph that shows the 100 largest metro areas in the U.S. and ranks them according to price appreciation in real estate that they have experienced in the last 10 years. This was crazy to me. Boise, Idaho is number 1. Its home value has gone from $147,000 to $370,000 over the last 10 years. That's plus 150%. The median increase is about a 46% increase in home values across the country in the last 10 years, and Nashville is sitting at a 72% increase in those same 10 years. Not the massive high, not the low, better than average, stability. Nashville's the 32nd highest of all large metros in the U.S., sandwiched between Los Angeles, Colorado Springs, and Charlotte. But at 72%, it's not at the Las Vegas, Phoenix, or Boise highs. And I think that's a good thing. So the takeaway is that Nashville has a good, steady appreciation. Not massive highs, not massive lows. Stability. When I'm looking to invest my money, whether it's rental property or where I want to live,
stability in the housing market and in employment prospects are paramount.
So when you consider the sustainability of growth, it also comes down to affordability. If people can't afford to buy a home, then that growth is going to slow down and maybe you're going to start seeing some major depreciations. The national average home value is $299,000. Nashville is well higher than that, about $350,000. However, although that's a little bit above an average, it's nothing like Denver, where the average home price is $500,000, or Salt Lake City, where it's $420,000. So Nashville at $300,000 has gotten more expensive, and in certain other areas of Nashville, which we'll talk about, it's really a lot more expensive than that. But Nashville has had a basically affordable, sustainable growth and should stay that way in the foreseeable future. What you don't want to see is massive growth that is not sustainable, where the people are priced out and it's no longer affordable, where the prices of the homes outpace the prices of salaries and income. And we're just not seeing that here. Let's look at some of those huge population growth areas in the last 10 years to give you an idea of the sustainability and what you'll be moving toward. So when we're talking about the Nashville metro, we're talking about 14 counties, and primarily we're focusing on Williamson, Davidson, Rutherford, Wilson, and Sumner counties. These are the ones that drive the bus in terms of real estate, and they're also the counties with the highest real estate values. Williamson County has an average home value of $510,000. Not surprising. It also has the highest median income. Now, at the same point, those are going to be much larger houses than when you get to Davidson County with the median home sales price of $310,000. But you got to remember, Davidson County numbers are including the inner core, some of the older areas that have not been rehabbed or revitalized yet. It's also more townhouses, condominiums. Williamson County really doesn't have many of those. We're seeing a lot of people move into Rutherford County, which is Murfreesboro. The same goes for Wilson County in the east. That has experienced a 32% population growth in the last 10 years. Sumner County to the northeast is also really highly desirable because of the affordable housing. But knowing the values on their own is just kind of one piece of the puzzle. You want to take a look at where that growth is, where the potential for growth is, especially if you think you'll only be in the area for 5 to 10 years. Now, let me warn you, I've had an awful lot of people say that they're going to only be here for a couple of years, and they look up and it's 30 years later. So I think you're staying. This graph is going to show you where we're seeing some massive appreciation differences in the last 10 years. The percentages on the graph shows you. So the greener it is, the greener the county looks, the higher the price appreciation over the last 10 years is. So Davidson County is still the leader in terms of price appreciation, where the average home values at 2010 were 170, and they've appreciated to 310,000. I will say a big part of that is after our flood of 2010, a lot of the areas that were flooded were the lesser price homes by the river in East Nashville. When that was flooded, we now have rapid new construction, lots of new construction, which of course brought the prices way up. So Davidson County had an 84% appreciation, which is markedly higher than, say, Trousdale County, which only had a 50% appreciation in that last 10 years. Far more affordable then, far more affordable now, but didn't have the appreciation. 50% is the average throughout the country, so there's nothing wrong with that. So Wilson County's average home value 10 years ago was $320,000, and that's up to $530,000 today. That's a 65% increase. Are we starting to get to a point where people are potentially priced out of the market? I'm hearing that some in Davidson County. The natives especially are having trouble, which is one of the reasons we have no inventory. People who might like to downsize are not downsizing because the cost to downsize to maybe a newer home or a better location for them is prohibitive. So they're just staying put. If they're not moving down because they can't find the property, then the move up buyers have no property to move up to. And frankly, as construction costs have rapidly increased, especially even in the last 4 months, when the cost of construction for copper, for the wiring that goes into a home, has markedly increased, when framing lumber has gone up about 100%, when these numbers, all the things that go into building a home, go up in price, would-be buyers of new construction homes may well be priced out of being able to buy those, which means they're going to buy resale homes, which means the prices of those also will go up. Another thing that's happening here in Davidson County, Williamson County, all the 5 counties around Davidson County is this. People are moving here in droves from other areas of the country to get a different lifestyle. As they're moving, they're bringing their cash with them from the sale of their property. Often they're moving from an area that's a higher home value area. Places in California, Texas, New York, Chicago. So they're bringing cash in their pocket ready and willing to buy a house. They're used to more expensive homes. So it's being very competitive, difficultly competitive to native Nashvillians who are here. So if you hear a little bit of a go away newcomers, you might understand that. Sorry, that's just the case. To further complicate matters a bit, when you are trying to discern what the value of property is in Nashville, maybe thinking of making an offer or putting your home on the market, you can't just look at the overall increase of each county. Each county has several different zip codes in it. So while Davidson County has increased 84% in general, the 37215, 37205 has not increased a total of 84% in the last 10 years. It's a smaller number. What is the reason for that? There's no new construction, so those are infill properties. And they're also the very much highest price point properties, and you don't have as much of the market who can afford to buy a 800 to 2 million, $3 million home, which is what you will often find in 37215 and '05. Therefore those increases cannot be as high. You have far more of the market that can buy the $300,000 to $600,000 price point, and you'll find that in different zip codes. The same concept applies in all of the surrounding counties. Williamson County, for example, has seen a 65% increase overall in home values over the last 10 years. But the further you move away from the Davidson County line, the lower that percentage increase is. When you get down to closer to the Maury County line, that increase has not
gone up as much as the 65%, it has had great, strong growth as there's lots of new construction. And again, it gets to being more of a you're getting to be more of an affordable price point that more of the market can attain.
So many things go into determining the right place for you. Budget, of course, starts there. If you're comparing apples and apples, you're not buying houses because unfortunately, you just can't do that when you're buying a house. But these numbers do tell you a lot of what's going on, and I think should make you very comfortable that when you're looking for a place to invest your home, to build your family, to maybe retire to, Nashville is a safe spot because we have not had the ups and downs. We've not had the rise and falls that so many places around the country have had. We are a conservative state. Some people don't like that. If you don't, we aren't your spot. If you do like that and you want to continue, then we invite you to take a stronger look.
To continue getting all kinds of great information about Nashville and the Middle Tennessee area, be sure to go ahead and subscribe to the show. Tap the bell so you're notified every single time a new show drops, which is weekly. And until next week or next time, be blessed.